Hi folks, it's me, Michaela, and welcome back to my channel. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Michaela, why are you sitting on the floor when there's a chair behind you? What's up with that? And the answer is that I'm sitting on the floor because my laptop is on the couch because I need to do some screen recording for you because today we are going to be talking about, drum roll, a new spreadsheet. I know, I couldn't hold myself back. You know I needed to make a new one. And so I was sitting around thinking, I wonder if it'd be fun to make a library database. And then I was like, I don't really have enough books to require needing a library database. Okay, and so then I was thinking, maybe that's why now is a good time to start that. Because if I wait until I need a library database to make a library database, imagine having to input all of that data into said base. It'd be too much. So I've decided I'm going to do it now. Let's talk about what I've set up to start the database library spreadsheet. So I'm going to start screen recording. So here we have just the beginnings of the spreadsheet for the database. And what I've done is I've created a Google form, which is over here. So I've created this Google form that has all of the questions for me that I can fill out and answer. And then as I answer those, it will be entered into my library database sheet here. So I have included obviously the title of the book, the author, the series, if it's in a series, the format. So this is if it's like a paperback or if it's a hardcover. I have the age range, so middle grade, children's, young adult, new adult, adult. I have genre, obvi. I then have a section for like if I read it or if I have not read it yet. I also am including the publishing year, so I'm gonna have to look in all of the books. I have then acquired, so this is for if it's like a book I bought or if it's a book that I received as a gift, and then the date acquired. So this will help me like know how long something's been on my TBR, but the date acquired thing is going to need a bit of tweaking to start because obviously I haven't been keeping track of this information before. So for a lot of books, I know when I acquired it. For example, the new Frederick Bachman, I acquired this on May 6th and I bought it because that's when it released. But obviously there's a lot of books on my shelf that I've had for a really long time and I'm not going to have like an exact date for those. So I think for any that I have absolutely no clue of, I'm just gonna mark those ones as like January 1st, 2022, because that's kind of when I started my reading. So I think like that's the best option because I don't want to have any that are just like no date. I do want to have everything to have the information entered as needed. So that's kind of my plan, and I shall enter in some data for all of these books. There's going to be a lot of needing to look at my Indigo order history and also looking at Goodreads to get some of this information on like when it was published and the date acquired stuff. But I think in the long run, it'll be worth the effort now to get all of this here so that I have the information. So just to show you how the form entry works, in case you don't know, to make the form, I opened up my spreadsheet, went to tools and create a new form. And when you do this, it creates this for you. You can make a question, you can mark it as required or not required, you can change it to be a short answer, multiple choice, checkboxes, drop down, you can make it be choose date. There's like a lot of like options you can do in this form to get stuff going. And then once you're ready to finish your form, you'd press publish. I've already made my form. So once I've published my form, here's my form, I can then insert in all of my details. So since I have Frederick Bachman here, let's use this as my example. So I would put in the title. Hello, typing with one hand is difficult, guys. I should have used my mic stand. Too bad I don't do that because I'm crazy. Not part of a series. This is a paperback. It's an adult. It is a general fiction. It is unread. It was published in 2025. It was purchased and I acquired this on May 6th of this year. So then I can click submit for my answer, and then when I go over to my library database sheet, you can see that all of the information that I just put into the form has been entered into the sheet automatically. So I now have to go and do that action like 80 more times. I'm not going to bring you along with me for that because that's going to be really boring. But once I have all of my information entered into the library database, we can come back and look at said library database, okay? Let's go, go, go. And by let's, I mean just me. Like, I have to go do this. You do not. So go, like, have a break, eat a Kit Kat or something. I don't know. See you. Welcome back to the floor. I have finished now with inputting all of the books into the database. It took time. It took time, and I was taking that time and thinking, wow, this is what I'm doing with my life. But I do feel like it was worth it, like once I was finished. You know, it's just like when you're in that halfway point and you're like, damn, there's still halfway to go and you're living on a prayer, right? That was a hump to get over, but I did get over it. I've entered all of the books into the database, so it's on the spreadsheet. So let's have a little look-see at what the spreadsheet's looking like now, shall we? So here is what my library database is looking like now. I actually have more books than I thought I did. I apparently have 132 books. Did not think I had that many, but it's been growing. So I did also make like a couple of changes while I was, like inputting the data. I changed the form a bit because just like, you're using things and you realize that you actually have a bit more needs than you need to. And the nice thing is that you can really just go edit the form to add whatever you want, refresh that page, and bada bing, bada boom, it's there for you. So what I did change was I added to format. I did add, hold on, let me find it, mass market here, just because I was like, ooh, maybe I will want to keep track of if it's a mass market paperback versus a standard paperback. And that really only applies to my Mistborn books right now, but I thought better to have it than to not have it. And then the other change I made is over here with acquired. I added in childhood, which to you, you're probably like, what the hell does acquired childhood mean? But to me, it's very clear because it's for me and I made it. But basically I added in this like childhood thing for books that basically were from my childhood home or from my childhood that I've brought here with me. These are like the first few Inheritance cycle books by Christopher Paolini. My Harry Potter books are all from childhood, and Hooper Humperdinck is like a childhood book that's on here somewhere. Here we go. Hooper Humperdinck, Not Him is a book from childhood. Just because I was like, well, I didn't purchase this book, but it also wasn't a gift, so I felt like I needed to add an option, so I did. I also didn't have too many books where I could not find a mildly accurate date acquired for. A lot of them, if I couldn't find like a history, looking through my book haul videos and comparing that to my Indigo order history and comparing that to when I read it for the first time in Goodreads, I was able to kind of like narrow down a lot of them. So that was like pretty nice. I did for a few of them just have to go to like my Goodreads, see when I first read it. And if it was like September 22nd, 2022 was when I started reading it for the first time, then I just put acquired as September 1st, 2022. Just to be like, that's as close as I can get it for a few of them. But for the most part, I was able to rifle through and remember when I got everything, which elephant brain comes in clutch for that. I remember extremely unnecessary details a lot of the time. But now I have like this database here acquired. So I'm not exactly sure like what I want to do with this information yet. If you have any ideas of how you think I should take this data and maybe make charts or lists or any other kind of things that you think could be fun, let me know. Any input you have. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do exactly with the database. I think it'd be good to use to keep track of my physical TBR, but also maybe use it for some more like statistics with my reading and my books and my library. It could be, you know, like fun to do, keep track of like how many books from a certain author I have instead of just my series, like my series spreadsheet is. But for now, like what I can do here is, you know, like apply filters. So I could like filter this so that I can only see my unread, and now it'll give me a list of that. I also could sort this by author A to Z. You know, there's many things that can be done. I just haven't exactly decided what I want to do with it all yet. Yeah, there we have my new library database. It was, you know, like a weekend activity, but I made it work and I made it happen. There we go. This wasn't really a tutorial because I've never done this before, so I was gonna make a tutorial on something that I barely know how to do myself. But it was fun to figure it out, and I thought I'd just show you kind of like my little journey along the way. Do let me know, do you have any kind of a database or tracking system for your physical TBR or just your library in general? Anything like that, let me know. If you happen to like the video, make sure to give it a like, give it a little thumbs up. If you happen to like me, consider subscribing. I'd be happy to have you. And with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.